The sixth short from Star Wars Visions is T0-B1 from Science Saru. Honestly, I'm glad I watched this one again before doing my review because my thoughts on it flipped completely. Originally, I wasn't looking forward to this short. The story of a droid dreaming to be a Jedi didn't sound so appealing, and after my first watch, I just thought it was okay. However, after a second watch, my mind changed, simply because this is the perfect representation of every Star Wars fan's childhood. We all grew up wishing we could be a Jedi, and as a matter of fact, I said more than one time, I want to be a Jedi when I grow up. So seeing what I consider to be a representation of that is just amazing. The story starts off with T0-B1 getting some adjustments made, when he then goes off to finish his daily tasks and plans to play Jedi after he's done. T0-B1's purpose is to assist with Professor Mitaka's research as they attempt to bring life back into a barren planet. T0-B1 finds this boring, however, because they've been there for so long without any progress, and instead he spends most of the day daydreaming about being a Jedi to the point where he gets in trouble. Professor Mitaka gives T0-B1 a Yoda-type speech saying that adventure and excitement don't really come with being a Jedi and that becoming a Jedi is very difficult. They have a lot of responsibilities, and if T0-B1 is to be a Jedi, he must understand this. T0-B1 is still very adamant that he's ready, to the point where Professor Mitaka says that if he is to become a Jedi, he must find himself a kyber crystal. And there just so happens to be one on the planet, and he must find it. So early the next morning, T0-B1 takes off to search the whole planet for the kyber crystal, but is unsuccessful in finding one, until he remembers the one place he hasn't searched, the basement of the lab, the one place where Professor Mitaka has told T0-B1 to not go. And inside the basement we find a T-16 Skyhopper, where he accidentally sends out a transmission talking about the Jedi. Out in space, the Empire hears the transmission and an Inquisitor is sent to see if a Jedi is truly in hiding. Professor Mitaka realizes it's too late to do anything about it and hides T0-B1 away with a hilt of a lightsaber by using the Force. T0-B1 realizes at this moment that Professor Mitaka has been a Jedi this whole time while he faces the threat. When T0-B1 emerges from his hiding spot, he finds the entire lab destroyed and a pile of stones where Professor Mitaka lies dead. T0-B1 decides that he's going to continue with Professor Mitaka's legacy and finish his work to bring life back to the planet. He places the lightsaber hilt in Mitaka's grave and says he will come back for it when he's ready. T0-B1 works hard and gets the lab up and running and is able to bring life back to the planet as moss begins growing on Professor Mitaka's grave. And then it suddenly starts to rain, and just as it does, he hears Mitaka's voice telling him to use the Force as a kyber crystal finally reveals itself. It was in T0-B1 the whole time. He holds out his hand as his lightsaber forms and a light blue blade ignites from the hilt. He celebrates with his droid friends when his attention is drawn towards a TIE Advanced V1 that lands on the planet. The Inquisitor exits the ship, ignites his lightsaber, and begins fighting with T0-B1, who is having a pretty hard time keeping his ground against the Inquisitor. He's knocked back into Professor Mitaka's grave, where he then is taken by the Force. In this dreamlike state, he has a conversation with the Force ghost of Professor Mitaka, where he congratulates T0-B1 on his accomplishment and knights T0-B1, now as Toby, a true Jedi. Toby then comes back to the fight and is able to defeat the Inquisitor. Toby celebrates his victory and decides to carry on the Professor's legacy by going to other planets and bringing life back to them, because that's what Jedi do. Ending T0-B1. I truly am glad that I watched this a second time because the short really has become close to my heart. It just perfectly represents how I daydreamed as a child about being a Jedi, and it really spoke to me. The animation is very different. They took the classic Astro Boy influence, but the color palette is amazing. Using just white and different shades of blue I think was the perfect choice for this story, which went so well against the contrast of the black and red colors of the Inquisitor. Definitely the right choice to make for this story. But what do you think? Did you like T0-B1? Or was this one of the shorts that you just weren't excited for? And if you liked it, did it bring back any childhood memories for you? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.